Good morning, everybody. This is our astrology weather forecast for June 15th, 2025. And we've got a few things going on today. Rebellion is still in the air. We do have Mars and Uranus still square. It's even a little bit more stinky with Mars coming to the 29th degree. Just got to 29 degrees. Uranus is at like 28.55. So we're just getting out of the peak of the pushback, the propensity to assert ourselves, to keep ourselves in a state of free choice or being able to move in a way that allows us that feeling of personal freedom. Hey, Michael. So, Moon is still in Aquarius, does add to the push forward when it comes to rebellious energy. Yeah, Imogene, I was just looking at that. It's an interesting solar return he's got going on there. I'll be talking about that extensively in my private group here on YouTube and in my study groups. There's a lot to look at there. So we are fit to not be tied with Mars Uranus squares. And we have to be careful about what we do push up against because we will see some unintended consequences. And sometimes it's worth it to deal with those, even if we couldn't foresee what was going to happen. Sometimes we're really regretting it. It depends on your foresight. If we're asserting ourselves just to get some kind of payoff without putting in the work, that's where we get into trouble because we're cutting corners with squares and minor hard aspects and conjunctions too. But then conjunctions are actually like skipping a major step. We're not just cutting a corner, we're just skipping a whole step. Squares are something where we have more of a connection to the combat within ourself. We aren't so blindsided by our own self. There's more of a consciousness about what we're doing and what's going on. So we need to look at our motives. Are we trying to push something through that is ultimately good for us and the people around us? It's just going to take some amount of risk to get there. Or maybe we might have to step out on a limb and we might even have to put out more energy than we're currently receiving, but it might be worth it to us in the long run. If that's your motivation, we can get very good things out of this particular square. But again, if you're just being a meathead and saying no for the sake of saying no, if we're just using our willpower in an egoic way, that's when we see pushback and consequences. We don't get the payoff that Uranus can bring. So we just have to be careful about what we're working towards. Moon does continue through Aquarius, still adding to this feeling of pushback and needing to be careful about where we put our energy. because of the possibility of backlash. And then we've also got the square between Jupiter and Saturn. This came in the first time August 19th and December 24th of last year. So this is also a peak day of reconciling our vision and our collective stories and reasons for hope with reality. We feel like we are coming up against a crisis point or a brick wall when we have this square, and we have to look at, are we going to err on the side of hope and creating new stories, or are we going to err on the side of tradition and in reinforcing old stories? It's an interesting square to deal with because we're asking ourselves, do I have good reasons to be hopeful or to have a certain faith or belief? Or is there something that I need to pull back from or allow more information in that can be deflating, but ultimately it can keep me safe from making decisions or choices or going in a trajectory that could have me just going off a cliff. So it can be a day where some of us make decisions that do reinforce our reasons to be hopeful, our vision for our life, because we do see that it's justified. And it may take some amount of effort to get there, but we can make it happen if we put our shoulder to the wheel. And there can be other areas of our life or other people, other decisions, other reasons for hope, belief in optimism, and that we can say, maybe this isn't justified, or maybe what I thought was right or a good trajectory for my growth, it may not be what I want to continue with or pick up or um, I may want to get out of that car. So it's different for different people how conflicts show up in our life, and it can be different areas of our life. We can decide that one thing, yes, this is worth moving forward with, and we can decide that maybe something in another area, we're going to shrink back from that. We're either going to do more of a wait and see, or we'll pull out altogether. So some things we're going to feed, some things we are going to pull back from and allow to shrink. All right, that's what I got. Be careful what it is that you react to today and how forcefully you assert yourself. These are not the easiest energies for a holiday or for get togethers or getting the family together or getting into groups because it does bring to the surface existing personal tensions. And so if we are getting together in personal ways, in family situations, in closer group associations, it is wise to try to keep our rebellious energies under wraps out of respect for the situation or the condition or the occasion that we can find ourselves in. So basically, if you're with family today, don't be a selfish idiot and come into the group asserting yourself ideologically i- if that's not appropriate for the situation, because you will end up with a Uranian kick in the pants. So, have a good one.